As we enter into worship this morning, may we acknowledge that this church stands and we stand virtually today on the traditional and the ancestral land of the Pennacook people. Pennacook, also called Merrimack, means bottom of the hill. We honor that the spirit and the heart of this land is your land, Cowassuck Band of the Pennacook Abenaki people. On this morning, when we are honoring Memorial Day and those who have lost their lives in service to our country, as well as honoring the role of work in all of our lives, I'd like to share a reading from Robin Wall Kimmerer that demonstrates and embodies Indigenous peoples' views of labor. Know the ways of the ones who take care of you, so that you may take care of them. Introduce yourself. Be accountable as the one who comes asking for life. Ask permission before taking and abide by the answer. Never take the first, never take the last. Take only what you need. Take only what is given. Never take more than half. Leave some for others. Harvest in a way that minimizes harm. Use it respectfully. Never waste what you have taken. Share. Give thanks for what you have been given. Give a gift in reciprocity for what you have taken. Sustain the ones who sustain you, and the earth will last forever. You are faithfully and joyfully called to worship. And before we move fully into the service, I wanted to, first of all, wish Ray Wilson well as he is taking care of himself, and to thank Nick Place, who in a beautiful turn of events, sorry that you're needing to take care of yourself, Ray, but quite honestly, and a gift to me and to all of you, Nick has easily and on his own happily volunteered to serve as our worship associate this morning, as well as being on the organ and the piano. So thank you, Nick, and the choir. I think it's one of those gifts that life offers that if we pay attention, are always there, always there.
Good morning. And happy Memorial Day. We honor and remember all those who lost their lives in military service for our country and their families and friends who lost them. Welcome to the First Religious Society Unitarian Universalist in Newburyport, Massachusetts. I'm Nick Place, and I have the privilege of serving as your worship associate this morning. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. And we are glad you are here. If you are new and you'd like to connect, please fill out one of the blue cards in your pew and put it in the collection plate. We come together at FRSUU in person and online, committed to love, peace, and justice. Our mission and our invitation to all of you is to come as you are, journey together in love, act in courage, transform our world. If you are worshiping online and would like to access this morning's order of service, please click on the link just below the live stream. If you would like a large print order of service or hymnal, please ask an usher and they will be happy to help you. Please take a moment to review your order of service for all of the activities happening this week. In particular, join us this Wednesday evening at 7:30 right here in the sanctuary for Jazz Vespers. This service will feature pianist Chris Plant, sax player Mark Early, vocalist and trumpet player Steve Faria, and bass player Josh Schultz, along with poetry written and read by Newburyport High School students. We hope everyone will join us next Sunday for Reverend Rebecca's final worship service. This is a time to come together as a congregation filled with members and friends to celebrate and honor the shared ministry we've had with Reverend Rebecca and to participate in a ritual of thanksgiving and release of our shared time. There is also still time to RSVP for Reverend Rebecca's goodbye party that will be held Tuesday, June 2nd from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Newburyport Community Center. Please RSVP so we know how many to plan for and to feed. Information on registration is included in your order of service. And also today, after the service, please join the parish board downstairs in the lower meeting house for a conversation in advance of our annual meeting to ask questions and voice your opinions and concerns. This will also be held on Zoom, and the link is in your order of service online, if you're online. And a second session will be held on Wednesday, May 27th at 6 p.m. in the lower meeting house and on Zoom. Every Sunday, it is such a blessing that we can gather, so let us give ourselves to it. Welcome once again. It's good to be together.
It is indeed good to be together. As we celebrate and recognize Memorial Day and those who lost their lives in service to our country, so too do we also celebrate, honor, and explore the meaning of work in our lives. The concept of work is traditionally related to what people do to earn money. This is true. However, it is limited. I ask all of us this morning to expand our view of work outside of those boundaries and consider work in terms of how we make meaning in our lives, how we are in relationship to ourselves and to our fellows, how we spend our time on this earth, and how we serve. Our call to worship this morning is entitled "To Be of Use" by Marge Piercy. The people I love the best jump into work head first, without dallying in the shallows, and swim off with sure strokes almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black, sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves, an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands and crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing well has a shape that satisfies clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn. They're put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real. I'd invite us now to rise and greet your neighbors with a simple hello and how are you? Let's remain standing and join together in our opening hymn. It's number 357 in the gray hymnal, Bright Morning Stars. You may be seated.
Good morning. I'd like to ask the FRS volunteers that support the Essex County Habitat for Humanity to come on up and light our chalice and our candles of peace. Please join me in reading our words. The words are in your order of service. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
Each week, we also light 2 candles of peace, representing 2 places on earth that need peace. We remember them through this service and through the week ahead as a sacred encounter with our world. As we say each time we gather, we know that there are untold number of places on earth that need peace. These 2 represent today all of those places. I will share the location that we are remembering. We'll sit together in silence for a moment, and then I invite us all to say peace in 3 languages: peace, salam, shalom. Each of these candles representing an aspect of what we are remembering today. The first is for all of the places where service members have died in service to our country all the years since this country has been. The locations here on this land and in other lands, remembering that they did so for democracy. They did so for the rights of all people. May it be that their service is not in vain. To this we respond, peace, salam, shalom. And our second candle is lit this morning for all of the places where in our country, and of course beyond, people are lodged unsafely, looking for work because what they used to do has become seemingly unnecessary. All those who are unable to work, all those who are in need of work, all those who work and are unsafe at this time in our country, all those who work and are single parents, raise not enough in a paycheck to even pay the rent. That they may be remembered, honored, and celebrated for all of who they are. To this we respond, peace, salam, shalom. Please rise in body or in spirit, and let's join in our affirmation of faith, followed by the doxology. The words can be found in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God. Please be seated.
Good morning. My name is Rick Anderson, and I'm the FRS coordinator for the local Essex County Habitat for Humanity. And Reverend Rebecca and I are going to talk a little bit about that.
Thank you, Rick, and thanks to all of you who are here this morning who participate, and others who I know are not here in person but have donated and contributed just as much time. So Rick, I'm curious, how long has FRS been supporting and involved with Habitat for Humanity?
I think we officially signed up in 2017, but we actually really got going about in 2018. So it's been, 8 or 9 years, something like that.
I remember when we gathered in the lower meeting house to talk about this opportunity and the numbers of people who came to learn more and to get involved. So I'm so grateful for that. Where have you all been working over those years?
We did a bunch of projects over in Salisbury. I think there's about 5 duplex houses there that were built. And in fact, on the cover of your order of service are the ones that we built. So that's kind of nice. We also worked over in Hamilton. Again, there's like 5 or 6 duplex houses that we're working on. And 2 weeks ago, we just went over to Haverhill for a much smaller unit. So that one is just beginning.
That's amazing. I often drive by those homes in Salisbury, and I'm just struck by what is put into those homes that is not visible perhaps to the naked eye, just looking at them. But can you tell us a little bit about what is the model of how Habitat works?
Well, Habitat has the land, and they've organized the build projects, and they look for volunteers to help out. And they have a construction manager on site who will help you do the work and do whatever needs to be done that particular day.
And my understanding is that also the families who are going to be moving into the homes also participate, and so you're all working together.
Yeah, they have to, the families that are eventually going to live there have to put in a number of, they call them sweat equity hours. I think it's like 400, 450, something like that. So it's not uncommon that when a volunteer is working, you'll also be working with somebody who will ultimately be living in one of the houses. It may not be the exact one they're working on, but they have to put in the hours somewhere in the program.
I love that we're all in it together. So how often do you meet as volunteers?
We used to meet once a month. That was the original standard. They're now trying to level out the number of volunteers that show up on any given week, so now it's about once a quarter. So our next build day will be July 15th.
July 15th, can people participate, and do they need skills, construction skills, for example?
Now, a lot of people think that, oh, I got to be a builder or a carpenter or something. That's not true at all. That really, anybody with helping hands will be useful. I mean, a lot of times you're just holding something that somebody needs to measure, or hold it up while they screw it in place or whatever. And if there is anything technically involved, they have experts on site that can help teach you. So, a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of months ago, we did flooring in a bathroom. We put down tile flooring. And I was working with somebody on that. I've never done that before. But, the guy explained, well, this is how you do it. You put the mastic down here, you do the back of the thing, you put it down, we got these little line-up things. And, I assist for the first 5 or 6. And then afterwards he said, okay, now you do a couple, with him standing next to me. And then we kind of traded off the rest of the day. So you learn skills. It's kind of nice.
So that's pretty amazing. I know it had intimidated me at first, thinking that, I don't know how much I can lift, and I don't know how to do these things. And I'm sorry that I actually never got to one of the builds, but I've certainly heard a lot about them. So tell us, how would someone get involved if they're interested in joining the team or participating in July, for example?
Yeah, there's not really a big ramp up here. You just have to sign a waiver form that says, you're not going to sue them if you get hurt on site. So the easiest thing to do is just send me an email. I'm rickanderson006@gmail. My email address is at the bottom of the order of service. So send me an email, we'll get you hooked up.
Is there anything else you'd like to share that I didn't ask about?
No, I just really appreciate that we get a chance to do something. I mean, it's not, you're not saving the world here. It's a drop in the ocean of what needs to be done, but it's still a drop. And I get to put my drop where I want to, and I hope you will too.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you, Rick, and to all of the volunteers who have worked together over all these many of years. Thank you.
Good morning. The generosity of our community is an essential ministry that supports the work of the church both in Newburyport and beyond. Half of this month's non-pledge collection will go towards helping those in ICE detention return to their families and neighborhoods. Our community partner this month is Beyond Bond and Legal Defense Fund. Every day, ICE arrests and detains members of our communities. Bonds to obtain release from ICE detention can range anywhere from $2,000 to more than $20,000 per person. The Beyond Bond and Legal Defense Fund raises money to get hundreds of people released from detention and has also helped with legal fees for many others. To give online, please use the link in your order of service or below the live stream. You can also make a contribution by text, and of course, you can always mail a check to the church as well. Thank you. The offering will now be gratefully received.
Builds a house with his hands. 30 years go by, it stands. It stands where nothing stood. A house of stone. The mason sleeps real good. He does his workday flies. Quitting time's a big surprise, and then it's one more stone to get just right. It's always one more stone before the night. Every house he builds, every stone he lays, it's not just making money and counting the days. He builds a house with his hands. 100 years go by, it stands. It tells you who he was. Life goes fast, but the work a mason does is made to last. The work a mason does, it's made to last.
This is a time in our service where we pause to lift up the joys and the sorrows, the hopes and the dreams of this beloved faith community. Karen Letourneau, our pastoral care associate, will light candles as I read what was shared with me in advance of today's service, as well as what was written in the journal. The journal is always located in the vestibule when you enter in on a Sunday, and you are welcome to write anything you would like shared with us this morning. Let us gather.
Oh,
This morning we light a candle of blessed memory. Audrey Cass's family shares that she passed away on April 21st. She valued this church community very much, and we too valued and loved her presence, her walking, her smile, her always ready questions and curiosity. Lori and Tom Clark ask that we light a candle as we help them to honor and to remember their dear friend, John Pellenton. John died on May 17th. Known as JP to them, JP was one of Tom's fraternity brothers at Dartmouth. JP was Finnish and the very embodiment of sisu, which is a character trait that Finnish people are known for. It means roughly the ability to persevere in the face of adversity and to confront challenges with tenacity. Lori writes, Tom and I are so grateful for the special quality time that we were able to spend with JP last September during a mini reunion of Tom's fraternity in Manchester, Vermont. We will hold JP in our hearts forever. Melissa and Steve Mills light a candle of care and concern and ask us to hold their son-in-law, Justin Peters, daughter Alexa, and son Tom in our hearts. Justin just learned that he has a brain tumor and is beginning treatment at Sloan Kettering. And we light a candle also of blessed memory and love. Joanne Carroll writes that today is the birthday of her son, Charles, commonly known as Chuck. Chuck has been gone for almost 5 years, Joanne writes, and we all miss him. He was especially missed last weekend when his son Jack graduated from UMass Lowell. And we light a candle of celebration and thanks from an anonymous contributor who writes, this is a shout out to all the FRS volunteers who made and served a community meal on the 5th Monday of the month for Among Friends under the faithful and fearless leadership of Ann Powers. We often prepared 120 meals. Thank you, everyone. And we light a final candle, as we do each time we gather, for all of the hopes and the sorrows, the joys and the concerns that, although unspoken, are held in just as much love and care. Let us join our voices. I invite everyone now to join me in a spirit of prayer, meditation, and contemplation as I guide us through a brief time of connection. So you may want to close your eyes or at least soften them. You may want to look at the hands in your lap or stare gently out the wavy old glass around us in this meeting house. Connection, connection, they say. is the opposite of all that tears us under. Connection, the opposite of misunderstanding. Appropriation, addiction, self-harm. When we recognize, know, feel, and realize the deep shared interconnection with us and all of life, we are more whole. In this moment, I invite you to connect with, remember, or see someone whom you know served our country in the military. They may be living, they may be serving, they may have died. This person's work involved that call, voluntarily, involuntarily. They had a life. They have a life. Thank them. All of us choose ways we want to be in the world, some more privileged, many, if not most, not able to be so choosy in what they do. So bring first to your mind the last person you saw who served you. You may have been here in this sanctuary as a volunteer, a paid staff member, someone serving you coffee, pumping your gas. Last night, a neighbor who brought in your mail. See them. They have a life. Challenges, gifts, and blessings. Thank them. And bring to your mind right now someone who is caring for another creature. You may know them or not. Perhaps it's someone in a hospital, a nurse, a receptionist. Perhaps it is someone walking dogs for those who are unable to do so. Right now, see or imagine them. They have a life. They have purpose, even if they doubt it. Thank them. And now bring to your mind your own self. Your own self today and in the past. And what sort of work have you done? Paid, unpaid, seen, unnoticed, of great acclaim or no visibility, where you were honored or cast out. You know your story. Thank yourself. And for all that is our life, we say, Amen.
This reading is titled, What Kind of Ancestors Will We Choose to Be? Written by Ray Wilson, and it's written in first person. On June 22nd last year, many of us gathered downstairs to watch the live stream of the Sunday service at the UUA's annual General Assembly. The sermon that day was delivered by Reverend Dr. Nicole Kirk. One line from that sermon struck me so much that I wrote it down in my order of service, and it's stuck with me ever since. Quote, "And what kind of ancestors will we choose to be?" End quote. Think about that. What kind of ancestors will we choose to be? To begin with, why should we even ask that question? The UU minister, the Reverend Dr. Peter S. Rabel, took the 11th verse of the 6th chapter of Deuteronomy and wove it into this. We build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves by fires we did not light. We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. We drink from wells we did not dig. All those things, and 1,000 times more, both good and evil, are our inheritance from our ancestors. We stand on their shoulders. In Luke 12:48, Jesus says, "From those to whom much has been given shall also much be expected." I firmly believe that we, who have been given so much, owe it to the generations and centuries that will come after us to make the world a little better than we found it, so that they will be grateful for our broad shoulders. Thank you, Ray.
This time we'll share together in reflection and honoring of work is a little different than generally I do. I'll be sharing a number, depends on our timing, probably 3, maybe 4, poems, litany, readings written by others related to their work. And I invite all of us, as we're listening to those words, to truly let them in. We can be, I suppose I can only speak for myself, I can be so blind to what I do not know. It took me, even until recently, this is not written down, I should be careful of my time, to realize the biases that I have around work. I'm talking like now, recently, like now. I was raised in two different, my family, perhaps like some of yours, had very different ancestors on each side. I've mentioned this before, but one much more working class, if not poor, rural, and the other very upper class, particularly not so much in money, but in terms of education, esteem, roles, jobs they had. And I absorbed all of that inside of me. I absorbed the shoulds of the people who went to the schools that you might imagine, who had jobs you could maybe wish for. I also absorbed the shame and the internal oppression of those who were the working class. The train conductors, the food stamp mom, the cutting the mold off the cheese. I lived with this. I don't know about you and what your background was, but it was only recently that I really got how I privileged, prioritized, held in greater esteem the side of my family that did so much better than I. But that's what it was about. And as I've been reflecting on what life might offer in my own journey as I move forward, I realized that I definitely have made room for the firefly glitters. I've definitely made room to continue ministry, I definitely have allowed for Spirit to show, and yet I've still imbued in that this privileging of a particular type of work. And I started asking myself, well, what if? What if, and I won't give examples because that's disrespectful, but what if I went and got this hourly job? Could be good. What if, and what if, and what if? And I recognized the blinders I'd had about what I'd been taught. Much of it not spoken. You go to college, you get married, you get a job, a good job. You get letters after your name. None of that tells us who we are. None of it. So I'm as open to being surprised as the rest of us to what lies ahead. So these words, these poems, this is for those who are working, dreaming of working, remembering working. Those who have no idea how to put food in their children's bellies, much less on their table. This is for those who love their work, hate their work, dream of work, and those who seek to serve. For our work is interwoven into the life we live and have led. Whether once and for all, paid or unpaid, with great acclaim, or even idiots' disdain. To work is to live, so that others may breathe a little easier, and in the vision of justice, everyone's needs may be met. I'll share 2 poems, maybe 3, and invite us then into a reading together. Our first, and these are intentionally chosen out of our commonplace poets and viewpoints. So I invite you to open your hearts. This is a litany for unseen labors by Katie Rose. If you're moved, I invite you to find it on YouTube to hear it read. Out of a volume entitled Every Moment Holy in Nashville, Tennessee, with a theology quite different than our own. O Lord, who works in 1,000 unseen places, I pause in your presence as I begin my work today. Nothing is unknown to you, and you know that my labors do go unrecognized by others. At times, this has disheartened me. Yet this I believe, to work is a valuable gift. You've placed me here with an opportunity to tend these tasks for the good of your children. May I not be blind to the beauty before me. Be thou my vision, Lord, for in your sight the task at hand becomes an act of worship. And as the touch of your hand sweeps through, may my labors be sanctified. Meet me in this work with the power of your presence, for in your presence is the fullness of joy. Yes, there may be joy here also, even in this. How much of my work is unnoticed? And yet, how often do I neglect to say thank you to life, for the breath in my lungs, for the grass beneath my feet, for the varied flavors of food, colors, kestrels, and laughter. Mystery, you've worked all of these things into creation. Yet despite our lack of acknowledgement, life continues in care and is unceasing in service. May I humbly follow that pattern. As I go about my work today, give me eyes to see love at work in the world. Let me not forget the centuries of good and faithful servants who were never recognized on earth. May I be more attuned to brothers, sisters, kin around me who are simply laboring, many in more trying circumstances than my own. Let me work to the rhythm of the world inhaling and exhaling. Let my soul be at rest. And now, Lord, establish the work of my hands, not for my name, but for yours, that these labors may bring blessings from trial, peace from chaos, flourishing from barrenness, justice from abuse, and beauty from its lack. For my deepest satisfaction comes not from being seen by others, but by being profoundly and forever seen and known by love. Our second reading is entitled The Monster by Luis Rodriguez, contemporary and current. It erupted into our lives. Two guys in jeans shoved it through the door, heaving and grunting and biting their lower lips. A large industrial sewing machine. We called it the Monster. It came on a winter's day, rented out of mother's pay. Once in the living room, the walls seemed to cave in around it. Black footsteps to our door brought heaps of cloth for Mama to sew. Noises of war burst out of the living room. Rafters rattled, floors farted, the radio going into static each time the nipple ripped into the fabric. Many nights I'd get up from bed, wander squint-eyed down a hallway, and peer through a dust-covered blanket to where Mama and the Monster did nightly battle. I could see Mama through the yellow haze of a single light bulb. She slouched over the machine, her eyes almost closed, her hair in disheveled braids, each stitch binding her life to scraps of cloth. And Lucille Clifton's Study the Masters. Like my Aunt Timmy, it was her iron, or one like hers, that smoothed the sheets the master poet slept on. Home or hotel, what matters is he lay himself down on her handiwork and dreamed. She dreamed too. Words, some Cherokee, some Maasai, and some huge and particular as hope. If you had heard her chanting as she ironed, you would understand form and line and discipline and order and America. And I'll close with a poem entitled Success, often attributed to Ralph Waldo Emerson, though, and I learned this myself, I've read this at many memorial services and said it was he. It was written by a Bessie Anderson Stanley. Success. To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. My friends, may we always know that the work of our lives may be common as mud, botched, holy in its imperfection. May we allow it to come and go, ebb and flow. May we recognize our ancestors who bestowed the gifts unto us. And may we recognize and realize the ancestors we are becoming in all that we say and do each and every day. Amen. Let's rise in body or in spirit and join in our closing hymn, number 140, Hail the Glorious Golden City. Please remain standing and let's join together in saying our unison benediction as Karen extinguishes the chalice. The words can be found in your order of service. May the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us now and always. Again, everyone is invited to join downstairs in the lower meeting house for coffee and then a board congregational meeting and discussion, both in person and on Zoom. I want to thank again Nick Place for his flexibility and his amazing service to this congregation. Oh, he's up there. I don't even know where he is today. He's up there. My friends, as we prepare to go from this place, may we go so lifted up in the commonness of our humanity, in the shared experiences that all of us have, in the gifts and in the burdens, in the gifts and in the burdens, in the work that we have been given to do, the work that is yet to come, understanding that work is simply a way to understand how we spend our days. May we see in each and every person the dignity, the divinity, the light of life that they are. Go in peace, my friends. return again in great joy. Amen and blessed be.